What's going on, everybody? RogersBase here with another One Piece theory slash speculation video. I apologize if I seem kind of tired and if I'm stumbling on my words in this one. It is 1:45 a.m. when I'm recording this. I just did my review and my reaction of One Piece 805, and I don't normally do theory videos immediately following. The only time I've ever done that was when we found out about the Sanji wanted alive thing, and I wanted to give my thoughts on Sanji potentially being the son of a Gorosei. I have something similar based on evidence that happened in this chapter on what I believe Jack's devil fruit power is going to be. Now, I did a whole theory video on Jack that probably isn't going to come true because I made a bunch of theories. This was before we even met Edward Weevil. This is before we even saw Jack in the main story. We just heard his name in the underground. And now that we know more about him, we know that he's associated with Kaido, and now we saw that he attacked Zoe. I feel more confident about my guesses on Jack. And the big thing that I actually left out in my previous Jack video was what I believe his devil fruit is. And based on a couple clues that were in this chapter, I believe Jack has a prehistoric Zoan fruit of a woolly mammoth. I think he is a woolly mammoth Zoan user. And a lot of you guys are probably like, whoa, that's crazy. Where are you even getting this from? When we first met Jack, when we first saw the little hint of Jack when he was going to break Doflamingo off the marine ship, I noticed, and a lot of other people noticed, that he has a ship that looks like an elephant. It looks like an elephant. So right there, that's probably like, oh, maybe that's a ship that he stole from Zoe or something like that because Zoe's on the back of an elephant. But then I was thinking about it a little bit more, and we know that he's associated with Kaido, and we know that there's another prehistoric Zoan user under Kaido's command, if you will, right now. He's mostly just working with him, but we really don't know the full extent of that, and that is X-Drake. We know that X-Drake is currently working with Kaido, or either he's like a double agent or something like that, but regardless, he is with Kaido right now. And he also has a prehistoric Zoan fruit. He has a T-Rex Zoan fruit. And based on this week's chapter, where we saw the ravaged city, we just saw like claw marks on things and footprints everywhere where Robin and Frankie and Usopp and Zoro and Law were investigating the city of Zoe. Frankie pointed out a giant footprint on the back of Zoe that resembled that of an elephant. Now, we've already seen an elephant Zoan before. We saw that Funkfried, who was, I think, Spandam's sword, I want to say, back in Water 7, Ain's Lobby, that he had the elephant Zoan fruit. So it can't be a real elephant Zoan user. If it is an elephant Zoan user's footprint, then it's an artificial Zoan user's footprint who is either under the command of Jack or working with Kaido, but someone who helped to ravage the city. And Zoro pointed out fresh claw marks on the side of a building, as well as a torture device that was shaped like an X. Now, that got me thinking, okay, if Drake and Jack are both working with Kaido, and Jack was just on Zoe 2 weeks ago, ravaging the city, I doubt that Kaido would have just said, okay, Jack, you take care of this yourself. He probably would have sent someone along with him. And based on the claw marks, I think those claw marks were actually from X-Drake. And that Drake is working with Jack, who also has a prehistoric Zoan fruit, the Mammoth Devil fruit. And I think Jack was walking around the city in his regular Zoan form, and that's what caused the elephant footprint. I bet you he has a woolly mammoth fruit. And obviously, a mammoth would have created the same footprint that an elephant would have. And again, we've already seen an elephant Zoan user, so I don't think it was an elephant Zoan user. I really do think that it was Jack's footprint, and then Jack has a woolly mammoth Zoan. Now, again, I'm basing this off of like the elephant ship, what we saw Jack in before. I'm basing this off the elephant footprint that we saw in this chapter, as well as the claw marks and the torture device that looked like an X in this chapter. But I could be completely wrong. Again, this is a late night theory video I'm recording right after actually reading the chapter. But I brought this up weeks ago, and as soon as I saw that elephant footprint, I'm like, oh man, that's got to be what it is. He's got to be a woolly mammoth user. He has to have some type of prehistoric Zoan. And actually, I think that would tie in awesome with, you know, Zoe being a giant 1,000-year-old elephant. Because, of course, if we're on the back of a 1,000-year-old elephant, of course we're probably going to see prehistoric animals, as well as all the animal mink people that we've been seeing in this chapter. We saw a gorilla, we saw a bull, we saw Carrot, you know, the bunny, we saw Wanda, the dog. So even if they're not minks, even if there are Zoan users, which I do believe they are, because when Zoro mentioned in this chapter, you know, why would the minks attack each other on the back of the city? I bet you someone probably infiltrated and that they're fake minks. minks. They're Zoan users instead. Because, you know, to the normal person, you probably can't tell the difference between a Zoan devil fruit user, someone who looks half animal, and someone who is a mink, who is just naturally half animal, someone like Beppo or Wanda or Carrot. So I think maybe Jack somehow infiltrated the island pretending to be a mink, you know, a woolly mammoth mink, and then attacked based on Kaido's orders alongside Drake. Drake was slashing up some of the buildings, you know, Jack was ravaging things as a woolly mammoth, stepping around, creating those footprints, and that's what went down 2 weeks ago. Again, this is just a theory. None of this is confirmed. Obviously, this could all be wrong based on Chapter 806. But I think it would be really cool if Kaido's subordinates all had prehistoric Zoan fruits, and that if Kaido ultimately had some crazy Zoan fruit like a dragon or an Oni fruit, which I mentioned in my very first Kaido speculation thing. And I do think that Kaido either has one of the two. I think he has an Oni fruit, or I think he has a dragon fruit. I think it's one of the two. It's got to be one of the two. There's too many things hinting to that. And it would be really cool if he was like separating his subordinates by like other rare Zoan fruits, like prehistoric Zoan fruits. And that's why we saw Drake working with him, and that's why we see Jack with a woolly mammoth Zoan fruit working with him as well. I don't know, just a cool prediction, but I think it would be awesome to see Kaido with a prehistoric Zoan army. And on top of that, too, we know that the other people under Kaido are using artificial Zoan devil fruits. So I think the people who are actually controlling those people should definitely have real Zoan fruits. And they should have cool Zoan fruits if they're working for Kaido, no less. So maybe we'll see a series of prehistoric people. Maybe we're going to see a pterodactyl Zoan user. Maybe we're going to see someone using a triceratops Zoan. Something like that I think could be really, really cool. And obviously a woolly mammoth would tie into that. But my other idea, if it wasn't Drake attacking alongside Jack with his woolly mammoth fruit, maybe someone alongside Jack has a saber-toothed tiger prehistoric Zoan fruit. Because those claw marks, they could be from a T-Rex or a dinosaur, or they could be from a saber-toothed tiger. And that would make for an awesome prehistoric Zoan fruit. But again, these are all just speculation. I think, though, it's very likely that Jack does have that woolly mammoth fruit. I think the elephant footprint, the elephant ship, the theme around the elephant, us not really knowing what his devil fruit is, but making all these other assumptions based on other hints in the story, I think he's probably a woolly mammoth Zoan user. Again, I could be wrong though. Guys, let me know what you think of my theory in the comments below. Like this video if you like it. Be sure to share it. Share the conversation on Reddit or whatever. And subscribe, because I bring you guys One Piece reviews and theories every single week. Again, this one could be wrong, but I do think it would be awesome if Kaido had a prehistoric army and Drake and Jack were the ones who actually attacked the city. And Jack has a woolly mammoth fruit. Drake, we already know, has a T-Rex fruit. And if it wasn't Drake, then maybe it was another associate of Kaido's that had a saber-toothed tiger prehistoric Zoan. I don't know. Prehistoric Zoans all the way. I'm hyped for Zoe. Zoe is looking to be an amazing arc. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.